Welcome to Let's DIY My Home, where like-minded people are working together to tackle your project. Everything from a complicated remodel to as simple as repairing a door. That's letsdiyimyhome.com. We'll see you there. All right, welcome back, everybody. Vinyl siding is the topic today. We're going to be going across the different styles, makes, and options and manufacturers. So we're going to give you a broad view about vinyl siding. Some of you already heard vinyl siding and go, I'm not one bit interested in it. I wouldn't put it on my own house. And I understand that. But let me assure you, don't close the door on that yet, because the product has drastically changed today compared to where it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I wouldn't put the crap on my doghouse, to be honest with you. Today, it's drastically changed. We do a lot of vinyl siding, and actually, I put vinyl siding on my garage here. And I don't have an issue with it. But you do you, okay? And I'll do me. Then nobody's wrong. All right. So we're going to be talking about siding today. We're so familiar with if we need siding or we need a building product of some sort, we run to the big box store. That's what we're mentally taught. Go to the big box store. You don't realize how much more you're paying for a much less quality product, okay? You think you got a good deal because it was on sale. You think you got a good deal because you got the 11% discount. You think you got a good deal because they gave you the discontinued product and it was enough that you needed. What you don't know is the thickness of the product. What you don't understand is the durability portion of it. What you don't understand is how easy that product is to damage. We're going to be talking about the big box store against buying wholesale. See, most of the big box stores, now I went through and I will post them up here and you guys are going to get to see, I don't know which way I'm doing this yet, but we may just sit here and do the twist. I don't know. What you don't realize, your Lowe's, your Home Depots, whatever big box store you have in your vicinity, it might be a Menards, they buy from a wholesaler. And you have the ability to buy from most wholesalers. There are a few wholesalers that unless you are a contractor, they won't sell to you. But there are two that I'm aware of that will sell to you. But I'm going to talk about ABC Supply because that's a nationwide chain and they will sell to the consumer. You can go buy your shingles there. You can buy your siding there. You can buy all kinds of stuff there. Now, most of these wholesalers, they handle the name brand products. And I'm going to talk about a couple of them because they are pretty much nationwide. The largest one of the bunch, to my knowledge, is Plygym. Plygym makes all the accessories for your siding jobs. They make all the accessories for window trim, vinyl jambs, and returns to make the installation simpler and give you the desired look that, or architectural look that you're trying to accomplish. Plygym makes the majority of the extrusions of different products for the other suppliers. Shockingly, Royal Building Products is another really good one. That might be in your neighborhood. You might have that on your house. Then there's Norandex. Norandex is a wonderful product as well. All these are really good products, and there's really not a difference between them other than the name of the company and what they have to offer. Some have colors that the others don't have, and you're able to get what you need, okay? You've got Certainteed. You've got Allside. Allside makes a product called Charter Oak and a preservation panel. Charter Oak and Allside is they make a beautiful product, okay? Then you got Gentech. Today we have backer panels for the siding. In other words, it'll add up to an R value of 5. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on it, but we will be touching on it. And when I go to talking about insulation and house wrap in an upcoming video. We're going to get more into detail on that. Okay, because obviously if we're going to be siding our home, that is the time we should be thinking about energy efficiency. That is the time we should be looking at how we can airtight the house. And if your home is built out of 2x4 construction, and especially if you're in the northern states, we want to figure out, is there a way we can up the insulation value of our home? And the answer to that is yes. We have a lot of options available. And we'll go into more of that at another time. Okay, when we start talking house wraps. Now, I talked about we're going to cover 3 pros and 3 cons. Pro number 1, the siding length. Most of the time, if you go to the big box store, the panels are 12 foot. Well, that sure stinks. I'm going to have seams all over the place. If you go to a wholesaler, that same product, that same manufacturer has it available in a 16-foot 6 length, which is about 30% less seams. What does that do for you? That will actually clean up your wall. That'll clean up the outside of the house. That'll look a lot more professional than as if it is if I used a 12-foot panel. Okay? Then you've got the 25-footers, which is my absolute favorite length of a panel. Now, when I side a home, I don't order all 25-footers because they are more money, okay? But I have 50% less seams. I will order probably 30% of the house in 25-footers. I will order 30% of it in 16-footers, and then I'll order 30% of it in 12-footers. This way, I can help keep my costs down, but bring the appearance of the home up drastically. Now, when we get into talking about siding lengths, you also have them available, the siding product. You have it in a regular lap. That is a flat. It looks like this. Okay, that's a flat look. Or over here, I don't know. You're going to see it. Most likely it's going to be one of these 2 sides, and I'll keep them consistent. But that's the flat panel. That's called a lap board. This other panel is called Dutch lap. I'm not a fan of Dutch lap. That reminds me of the old shiplap days and on the barns and things like that. It's a different look, but we all have different likings, okay? Different strokes for different folks. They've also got vertical siding, okay, known as board and batten. Today, you can get board and batten in a 7-inch, 8-inch, and now also a 12-inch. I thought that was crazy when I heard I can do it in a 12-inch. That is about as close as you're going to get to the traditional board and batten that we're familiar with. I like board and batten because that gives it a nice accent, whether I do it up in a gable end or whether I do it in the front of the house. I can break that transition. You can run your siding to match the roof line. There's so many options available. It's endless. In the vinyl market today, we also have you can do different color corner posts. Just because I did Northwood siding doesn't mean I have to do Northwood's corner posts. I can do white corner posts. If you really want to step out there, you can do bright red corner posts. You can match it with the window trim. I tell everybody, you really don't want to go over 3 different colors on the house. If I happen to have a red roof, perhaps, I would then do red corner posts to bring the roof out, okay? Then I would probably do the same red for the soffit and fascia and the trim around the window. We also have all the trim pieces that you can order today in a 2.5-inch, 3.5-inch, 4.5-inch, and I believe a 5.5-inch. Well, the 2.5 may not be accurate, but I don't remember offhand. This stuff changes by the hour. So there's a lot of pros to it, and I'm actually ruining my video here because I'm talking ahead. The nice thing about like window accessories, trim around the windows, flat board look, you don't need a brake. You don't have to worry about trying to wrap this stuff. Okay, we can just pop it off, and then we put the window trim on, the flat window trim, and change the whole look of the front of the house, which then makes it more modern. Now, if by chance you have a little bit of metalwork that no matter what we do, we have to get it bent up. Corner post, for prime example. Today they make a nice column that snaps around an old wooden post that goes up to the soffit and gives it a decorative look. If it so happens to be a post that is supporting and you're not comfortable working with that, you may want to wrap that in aluminum. And at that point, I would say get a hold of your local contractors, make a few phone calls. One of them, like we do, if I have a homeowner call me and they want some metal bent up, I just tell them, you give me the dimensions you want. It's up to you to tell me the size. Vinyl siding. Vinyl siding is available in different thicknesses. Most of your big box stores, they will sell you vinyl siding. You go over there to pick up your siding. It's either going to be 0.40 and a 0.42. A 0.40 really is a builder grade. As far as I'm concerned, 0.42 is also a builder's grade to me. Today they don't call it that. They call it light residential in some places. I say BS. That's builder's grade. The premium grades that the contractors come out and talk to you about. Usually it's an 046, 044, which is a step down from the 46, and sometimes even a 50 and a 50 with an insulated backer behind it. Now that's the cat's meow, okay? And when they have a backer on it, that wall typically comes out perfectly straight, and unless I go up there and feel it with my hands, I would not know it's vinyl siding. Pro number 2. Pro number 1 was the lengths. I said I'm going to give you 3 pros and 3 cons. Pro number 2, vinyl siding will add value to your home. Plain and simple. It will add value. If your home is built in the 1940s and it's getting rough outside, you get an appraisal on it the way it stands right now, and most appraisals will do, also realtors will tell you, yes, it's going to be worth more once you re-side it, okay, if it's in really rough shape, depending on the value. Now, vinyl siding will raise your value of your home. Oh, I'm about to insert foot. I would say any home, I would put vinyl on any home that's $300,000 and less. I might just put it in the back and do a brick facade on the front and do something like that, okay, just to help cut costs. We see a lot of that today in new construction. If it's a $500,000 home, you do not touch vinyl on that house. That will devalue your home, okay? The other benefit to residing a home, that is the time to bring in the energy efficiency. That is the time we can look at what are our options for house wraps. Is house wrap an option that we want? Do we want to add some type of insulation on your home? Now, if your home is built in, like I said, the 1940s, 60s, 70s, and maybe early 80s, you want to look at these as options. Because if you're 2x4 constructed, that the best you're going to have back then is an R13. And I assure you, most of them are way less than an R13. Okay, we can go and add an inch of insulation around it and then add an R7 to it, which just brought you to the same as a 2x6 modern constructed home as far as insulation goes. So we can start making thermal breaks. That's another pro, okay? There's a lot of win-wins when it comes to siding a home. You can also look at like the polar walls. These are siding. Here's a picture of one. The siding that actually has a computer cut backer right with it. So it's user-friendly for install. Okay, so, and that will add up to an R5. Some of them are R3, some are R2, and some are R5. Obviously, R5 is going to be it's going to be further away from the wall. We'll talk more about that when we go into insulation in an upcoming video. Pro number 3, DIY friendly. Vinyl is extremely friendly for a DIYer to do themselves. It's not that difficult. Now, let's talk about Home Depot, and we're going to compare pricing, okay? This will be an example, and you can take a look on your screen, and you'll see this right here as well. So, Home Depot, where did you go? Uh-oh, don't tell me. Oh, there it is. All right. Home Depot. right here's the panel. You see it the same as I do. They charge $144 a carton. That is 100 square feet, if you need to know. What is a square foot? That is 10 foot by 10 foot. Now, Home Depot is $144 a carton. Now, we need to not, that, it is what it is. But let's take a look down in the specs here. And we're going to notice this is a double 4.5-inch Dutch lap panel. And it's also available in a D4, which is, in a standard profile as well. It's rated for 165 mile an hour wind, which isn't too terribly bad. But when we look at right here, the thickness, that is an 040 panel. That is the second to the thinnest panel on the market. Now, that's $144 a carton. Look over here at ABC Supply. This happens to be one I know that most stores will sell to the consumer. I'm going to zoom this in just for my eyes purposes. And that was a Dutch lap. So here, let's go to the Dutch lap. Here they charge for the same panel. Oh, they're at 40,000. I don't have that as an option here at ABC. This one's going to be under the Norandex brand, but that's fine. They're all pretty much the same across the board for wholesale stores. Here's a Dutch lap, standard 12 pieces per pack. They're 12'6". This happens to be an 042. So it's already thicker than what Home Depot is, okay, that you see over here. Much thicker. Now, Home Depot's 144. What happens when you get a hold of a wholesaler? You're paying $85.20 for the thicker panel, same profile, and everything. $85 for a thicker panel versus $144. Here, let's take a look at Lowe's. Lowe's is $13.98 a piece. Oh, that's going to require me to do math. And let's see. Actual length in inches. I don't know what you're talking about there, but you're crazy. Show more. This panel is an 042. Okay, this is going to be comparable to the Norandex one we just talked about. They're $13.98, and I know for a fact 13.98 times 12, they're $167 for an 042 panel. That's Lowe's. Why would you want to go there? Make some phone calls, folks. Buy wholesale. The 046 through ABC Supply today is $122. Still, way thicker panel, less chance of popping holes in it, less chance of the weed eater ripping through it. Much stronger panel. There isn't a huge difference between an 04 panel and a 046, 6,000. For some reason, it does become stronger. Therefore, more material, more cost, better looking. The thinner the panel, the more waves you're going to have in that house. The thicker the panel, the straighter it's going to be on your home. And I think we all want that. So I personally wouldn't put anything on my house under an 044 panel. Okay? Anything below an 044 panel, I would not touch. That's a .044. Now, back to my list. I'm not going to get into talking about polar walls and all this other stuff. Well, I'll touch on it. That's your 05 panel, .050 and up. I've seen them as high as .055. Okay? That panel typically is twice the money as a traditional 046 panel from your wholesaler. If you got an older home, you're going to know it first winter. Okay? It is that drastic of a difference when we insulate the exterior of the home and we airtight that. Again, please hit the subscribe button. If you're getting value out of this, smack that subscribe button, hit the bell, and we'll notify you as more videos are coming. The next ones are going to be on steel. The one after that is going to be on LP and Hardy. Those two I will do together. Then from there, I will start talking about house wraps and insulation. What are my options to get my home airtight? Smack that like button, smack the subscribe button and the bell to be notified. There you go. Back to this. Pro number 2. We talked about added value. I guess I'm going to be done on this. This video's turned into 30 minutes already. Pro number 3. It is DIY friendly. What do you need to install this? It is simple. Okay. You are going to need tin snips, a siding removal tool, because if you're doing a remodel and you're tying into some existing siding, you need to be able to unlock that. All these tools I'm talking about are down below. We are not an affiliate of anybody. And once we are an affiliate, by you clicking these links will allow us to receive a small commission to help pay to do these videos and educate you. Now, you're going to need a carpenter's knife with a good straight blade. You're going to need a nail punch. You're going to need a skill saw. You're going to need a pry bar, hammer, square, and chalk lines, and a Fat Max tape measure. I think that covers 90% of what you're going to need to hang up siding. Not that difficult. Cons. I'm going to bang through these because this is turned into 35 minutes. So hopefully I can cut a bunch out and get it back down to 30 minutes. Cons. This is a big one. Most people aren't aware of it. Vinyl's melting point is 165 degrees. At that point, that's deformation. In other words, it does the twist. And it goes this way, it goes that way, and it will droop like this. Okay? Deformation. It can happen. You need a thicker panel. It'll absorb the heat better. An 044 panel is going to run like water. I mean, an 040 panel will run like water, and it will droop. You never want to put a grill against your house. You do not want a grill near your house on vinyl siding. First time you fire that grill up, you're going to be learning how to repair vinyl. And I hope to God that grill is not next to the house because it will start it on fire. Vinyl is flammable. Vinyl siding will light up and go like so quick you won't know what hit you. Okay? So we have to be cautious with it. It is a great product. Don't get me wrong. I still would install it today. Con number 2. Vinyl siding will not prevent moisture from going behind the house. In other words, you said, what? You're right. If it's raining, water's going to go behind the vinyl siding, period. We need to learn, and this is part of underlayments that we're going to be talking about for vinyl siding, for siding, period. We're going to learn how to direct the water. So many YouTubers out there do a great job, but they lack on knowledge, and that's water prevention. You can't prevent water, but we can control it. That's a negative. Water goes behind it. If it has a J channel, water will go behind it. Water goes down beside the windows. It will go behind the siding. We need to catch that water and bring it back to the outside, folks. Okay? If you do that, you won't have rot. If you have vinyl siding on your house today and you don't believe me, go buy your decks. Most homes have decks on them today or have a ledger board on them. Go to the bottom side of your deck on the corner where the ledger is, right where the railing is. Pop that panel loose. If there is no tie back of any sort, that built right, that plywood, that whatever lumber that they used on that house is going to have rot, period. Because it's only in the past few years that they really started looking at water control. Incidentally, you put a computer cut backer behind that vinyl siding, it's now 300%. Where's it? 500. I don't know. Either way it goes, 300% stronger than vinyl products without the backer. Less chance of warpage, less chance of blowing holes in it, less chance of wrecking it. Okay? So lots of pros. Vinyl's come a long way, folks. My budget on this garage qualified for plastic, and I have no problem with it. As long as we do it correctly, there's nothing wrong with doing vinyl. With that said, I hope you guys found this beneficial. If you did, please smack the like button again, hit the subscribe button. You guys have a fantastic evening. God bless you all, and we shall see you next week. Bye now.